Thank Hashem that we're able to learn every day. That's because of our learning, we should have the base of English immediately. We're holding by the Mishnah, right? We're holding on 63a. Hamireda Salbaila. See that? Samach Gimel Amar Aleph. A woman that's rebellious against her husband. We'll see exactly what she's doing, but meanwhile, leave it like this. She's rebellious. So, she loses out from her ksuba 7 dinar a week. They start to detract, subtract from the ksuba that she would get when if she gets divorced. The husband has to pay her a certain amount of money. So, but because she wasn't behaving right throughout the marriage, it starts to diminish what she's going to get at the end. So it's 7 dinar Shabbos. I think in that agreement of what one of the institutions made, if a man doesn't want to give his wife a get after they decided that they're divorced, so one of the agreements was that he has to pay her $150 a day. Every day he delays the get. Yeah, so it's something like this, so that this, I forget, one of the organizations made an agreement, made this thing. Anyway, Rabbi Yehuda says Shiva Tarpikim, probably. I don't know how to pronounce it. It's actually I think it's a half of a dinar, half a dinar, half a ma. Let's see what it is in the Gemara. So it's, what does it say there? Half dinar. Yeah, so it's a half a dinar. Okay, so it just has to do with the machlekes here. Just seems to be the amount of how much it is, how much she loses out by being rebellious. Admasihu peiches. Well, how far down can you go if this goes on for a long time? Well, after a while, it goes down to 0, right? And then what would happen after that is that she would begin to owe. So here it says Ad Keneged Ksubas. It only goes down to 0. It doesn't go down past 0 until there's no ksubala. So Rabbi Yossi says that's not true. She starts to create a debt. Now the truth is that there is one more thing between 0 and negative. There's one more aspect there, and that is that we're diminishing the ksuba, but she also has a dowry that she brought in, and that the husband gets to use those items that she brought into the wedding, she brought into the marriage. And could the husband start to take from those items, from the value of those items or whatever she brought in, property or whatever it is, the nedunya, that's in between the 0 and the debt, right? So the first Tana, who was the first Tana? Tanakama says it only goes till the end of the ksuba, and it doesn't go past that. It doesn't go past the end of the ksuba. He doesn't start taking off the dowry because she was rebellious. And Rabbi Yossi says no. It starts to take off the dowry, and it's going to go until there's a debt, until maybe if she's going to one day get an inheritance. She doesn't really have access to much income, but one day if there's an inheritance to her, he's going to end up taking it. The same thing would apply to the man. If the man is rebellious against his wife, what happens then? We add to her ksuba every week 3 dinar. Rabbi Yehuda Shleisha Tarpikim. Oh, that's a good question. Yeah, the Gemara is going to explain that. I don't know if we're going to get to it today, but the Gemara will explain. Very good. Very good. Yeah, he needs a trophy. Where's Yitzi? Okay. What is she being rebellious of? Meredith means rebellious. Nothing about nothing that they lose. Her ksuba starts to be deducted from every week that she's rebellious. What is she doing? What is she? Well, Rav Huna mitash mishamita. Rav Huna says she's refusing to have relations with her husband. Rabbi Yossi bar Chanina amar mimalacha. Rabbi Yossi bar Chanina says she's refusing to work. Well, I guess it means like chores, tasks, things that she's supposed to be doing for her husband. So I'm not doing that. You do it. Okay, so Tanan, right. Tanan, we have a Mishnah that says like this. It's our Mishnah, it's the end of the Mishnah. The same thing applies. She's rebellious against him. The same thing applies if he's rebellious against her. Now, it says, it's okay, it works out okay, according to the opinion, which was Rav Huna's opinion, mitashmish, that she's rebellious, she doesn't want to have relations with him, and he's rebellious, he doesn't want to have relations with her. L'chayet, I think means it's true, or it's good. But if, according to the opinion that says, what does it mean rebellious? That she doesn't want to do the chores. Is he obligated to do chores for her? What is he obligated to do for her? She is the one that has to do the task. He doesn't have to do anything for her. What does it mean he's rebellious from the chores? Gemara says he is obligated to her. We're talking about someone that doesn't want to feed her. That's what he's being rebellious of. He's saying, I'm not giving you food, I'm not giving you money. But the problem is, here it sounds like if he says I'm not feeding her, so then we just start to diminish, or we start to add to her ksuba. She starts to say, okay, ksuba's getting bigger, but we have a statement from Rav that says they get divorced right away if he says he's not feeding her. Well, the Gemara says, Gemara says, but don't we have to consult with him? We have to talk to him. In the interim, while he's working it out, while they were trying to convince him that what he's doing is not correct. Meanwhile, her ksuba is being increased. Okay. She is. Yeah. Yeah. We'll see soon. Meisvei, where's the question? Achas li arusa unasua afilu nida afilu chayla afilu shmeres yavam. I'm not sure if we're supposed to read the parentheses. Let's read it. I mean, it doesn't hurt. The Gemara is a question. We're asking a question here on Rav Huna. We had a discussion. What does it mean a rebellious woman? What is she being rebellious of? How is it being expressed, this rebelliousness? Well, we have a brisa that says it's a brisa. Seems like a brisa that says that whether she's only betrothed or whether she's married, whether she's in nida, when she's impure, or she's ill, or she's just a shemeres yavam, but she's not really married to this person. Her husband actually passed away, and she's supposed to marry her husband's brother. That didn't happen yet, and nevertheless, she's rebellious. What does it mean, rebellious? So, we get what it means if she's rebellious with work. She doesn't want to do the chores. Fine. 1 second. What does it mean she's rebellious? She refuses to have relations with her husband. She's a nida. She's impure. She's not supposed to have relations anyway. Amalach. So the answer to that, Rav Huna would respond, there's a big difference between where she's not having relations because the halacha says that she's not having tells her not to, or she's not having relations because she's being rebellious. She's being rebellious, so then the husband at that time they can't have relations. But what could be is that the husband saying, okay, so I have to wait until. But here, even when he waits, there's no end to it because she's being rebellious. So the Gemara's example is someone that has on a fast day, someone's fasting. So there's a difference if he has a sandwich in his pocket or if he doesn't. If he has a sandwich in his pocket, it's okay. When the fast is over, I'll be able to eat. Just have to wait for that. Other one doesn't even have food for afterwards, so he doesn't even feel that The whole, when is this going to end? It has no end to it, right? It's faster. That's the pas besali. Bishleim lamanda ikadamrida. Those that say this different. Bishleim lamanda mitashmish hainu detani chayla. According to the one that says Rav Huna, that says that what does it mean she's rebellious? I mean she's rebellious. She doesn't want to have relations. That's what it means. That that's why it says it could fit well the term that she's ill. Nevertheless, that's considered rebellious. But one that says from work she's being rebellious. Is an ill person even capable of doing work? What does it mean she's rebellious? She can't do work anyway. You don't have like a pas pasali here with if it's referring to work. Rather, what it means is like this. Everyone agrees. We had a machlekes Rav Huna and Rabbi Yosi Bar Chanina. They're probably same generation, but Rav Huna's in Bethel and Rabbi Yosi Bar Chanina is in Eretz Yisrael. So everyone agrees to Rav Huna's statement that a rebellious woman means that she doesn't want to have relations with her husband. Question is, what about from work? So Rav Huna says that's not considered rebellious if she doesn't want to do the chores.
Do we know before that this also applies to the husband?
Yeah, there was one line in the Mishnah. And Rabbi Yosi says it also applies if she doesn't want to do the chores, do the tasks or whatever the work is. Kipligi min malacha, and that's the machlekes. Mar sav malacha leihav meredus. Rav Huna says that from work it's not considered meredus if she doesn't want to work. Mar sav malacha nami have meredus. And Rabbi Yosi says that no, she doesn't want to work. That's considered a meredus as well. Gufa. Go back to discuss something that we said before. The Gufa is problematic. Should have said it should be an Amar Mar. Gufa means
here the matter itself.
Yeah, we're returning to something that we mentioned before. Just the term that introduces a Mishnah is usually not Gufa. Okay. It says Hamiredes al Baila, a woman that's rebellious against her husband. We subtract from her ksuba 7 dinarim, 7 coins every week that she's rebellious.
Shabbos means a week.
Yeah, Shabbos means a week. Rabbi Yehuda tarpakim. Rabbi Yehuda says that it's 7 half dinarim, another type of coin. Okay, arguing about the amount that they subtract. Rabbi Seinu Chazr v'Nimnu, the sages gathered together and they decided that's not how it works. What it works is that she has 4 weeks, and they would announce that this woman is being rebellious. I guess that was some sort of embarrassment for her. They would announce that this woman is being rebellious, and after that, she loses everything. It wasn't that it would just go on forever, however, till it reaches 200. What would that be? 30 weeks. It reaches 200. Okay, 19 weeks. Okay, very good. No, it's a dinner is so that would be right. It would be 19 weeks. Thank you. So it doesn't. We only give her a total of 4 weeks. V'sholchan la bezdin, and the bezdin sends to her a message. Have a yidas, you should know. Shafilu ksubasich meya mana, that even if your ksub is 100 coins, 100 mana, 100 times 100, 100 times a mana is 100 coins, 100 times 100. So hifsadata, you lose it all in those 4 weeks. Achas liarusa v'nasua, afilu nida, afilu chayla, afilu shmeres yavam. Doesn't matter to me if she's only betrothed, if she's nesua, she's married, or a nida, or if she's ill, or if she's just a shmeres yavam. It doesn't fit perfectly. How is it that she's being rebellious? I guess what she's saying is that even she's not going to have relations even afterwards, even when after the marriage, after the yibam, maybe she's just refusing yibam, we'll see soon how it's going to work with Eva. But she's
just a-
betrothed.
she's
She's
a
not supposed to
school
be.
student.
Yeah,
Oh,
right. We'll see how to explain that. But if she's only betrothed, what is she being rebellious about? I guess the time for the marriage came and she's refusing to get married. That's probably what it means. Okay. Larissa. Amalei Reb Chia Bar Yosef l'Shmuel. Reb Chia Bar Yosef says to Shmuel, Nida bas tashmishi, and Nida is eligible for relations. Amalei, Shmuel responds, you can't compare someone that has bread in his basket, like a sandwich on the fast day, even though he can't eat, but at least he has it for later. Someone that doesn't have. That's why I think this is in parentheses, because this Gemara before, this Gemara that we just learned now, we just said it before. It's in parentheses means that probably it wasn't really part of the original text of the Gemara. That's why we have this. Otherwise, it's repetitive. Okay. Amar Rami Bar Chama. Rami Bar Chama says, "Ein machrizin alel b'bati knesiyas b'bati midrashos." Where do they make this announcement? It says not in the newspapers, not in the posters on the walls. Rather, it's an announcement that's made just in the shuls and Beis Medrash. Amarava, Rava says to Rami Bar Chama, his friend, says, "Dekanami, I'll prove it to you that you're right. Diktani Arba Shabbos is Shema Amina." It says they announced it on Shabbos. That's where everyone is on Shabbos, in the shul. They announced it at the Kiddush. That this woman is rebellious. It was an embarrassment, part of the punishment. Okay, Amar Rami Bar Chama says, Pamim Shalchan Lam Bezdin Achas Kedemach. Is it Pamim or Pamayim? Anyone have vowels over there? Yeah, Pamayim. Pamayim, twice. Shalchan Lam Bezdin. They sent from Bezdin the message, Achas Kedem Achraz V'achas Lachar Achraza. Once before and once after the announcement that this is what's going to happen to her. No, once before and once after. They sent her twice. Once before the announcement and once after the announcement. Now, yeah, but there is a discussion in there. Is it once before all four announcements and once after all the four announcements? Or is it once before each one and once after each one, which would mean that there were 8 messages from Bezdin that you better resolve this. Darash Rab, right? There's 2 ways of reading that. Darash Rab Nachman bar Rav Chisda halacha k'Rabbeinu. Rav Nachman bar Rav Chisda says that the halacha is like the sages that said she only has 4 weeks and she loses the whole ksuba. Amar Rava says, "Hi Borcha," says this is crazy. He doesn't like the Borcha means like a boar, but it's with an ending on the word boar, which means like nuts, not nuts. It means like foolish, a boar, like the English word boar. Absurdity. Okay, that fits. This is crazy. This is absurd. Amalei Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak. Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak says it's not Rav Nachman bar Rav Chisda. Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak says, "My Borcha say, what are you telling me? It's absurd." Anam Risan Alei. I told it to him. I guess it means he told it to Rav Nachman bar Rav Chisda. Umeshmei de Gav Rabba Risan Alei. And I even said it in the name of a great person. Umano, who was that great person? Rabbi Yosef bar Chanina, much earlier generation. Remember we had before. Rabbi Yosef bar Chanina was arguing with Rav Huna. The EU command Savar, who does he hold like? I'm sorry. The EU would mean who does Rava hold like, who argues on this? That he doesn't get 4 weeks. It gets more than the 4 weeks.
4 weeks.
4 weeks would be she's supposed to be getting a ksuba if they get divorced. But because she's being rebellious before the divorce, she's losing a ksuba. Now she loses the whole thing at the end of 4 weeks.
Oh, right, because every week she would lose a certain amount.
Yeah, well, the other opinion is that every week she loses a certain amount until it works its way down. It could go on
0
for 19 weeks.
Oh, okay.
or more. But he's saying that it only takes 4 weeks and then it's over. Yeah.
Yeah, so you take the 200 dinars or whatever, divided by 4, so that's like 50 dinars a week.
Right.
According to
This. Yeah. Right. It either works or it doesn't.
But, to put it in our terms, this student is supposed to be a working person's wage for the year.
Right.
That's a working person's wage, $100,000. No, it's like 55. So $55,000.
Right.
So she's giving it to her spouse or something? He's paying him the value of the Kesubos? Oh.
About a month. Somebody else. Maybe that's the plan. Probably waiting in the wings. Maybe that's the plan.
So the EU command server, who does Rava hold like that it doesn't work with the 4 weeks? He had itmar, as it was stated, Rava Amar Rav Sheshes halacha nimlachem ba. The halacha is that they consult with her. I mean, like they advise her. And during that time, she loses 7 coins a week. Rav Huna Amar Rav Sheshes halacha ein nimlachem ba, that they don't consult with her. Either way, according to Rav Sheshes, it's just being detracted from her ksuba until it's over. But 7 coins a week. But it's not. No one's saying that it's just over in 4 weeks. That's how Rav is following. Rav is following Rav Sheshes. What would be a woman that's rebellious against her husband? What does it look like? What is this? What's going on? Amra Meimar says the Amra be'inale umitzaranale. She says, I want to stay married to him, but I just want to give him some pain a little bit. I want to torment him. Aval Amra Ma'isalai. But if she says, I'm totally disgusted by him, I want to get divorced. And like Kaifinala, we don't force her to stay married. She wants to get divorced. She wants to stay married and torment him.
No, that's possible. She could ask for a divorce.
Yeah.
I thought, doesn't the husband have to give the get?
Yeah, but she can also ask for it, and then Bestin will decide if that's right for.
All right.
Sorry. Oh. Marzutra Amar Kaifinala. Marzutra says no. Even if she says she's disgusted by him, we still force them to stay married. There was a case. Bakfi Marzutra. Marzutra forced the couple to stay married, forced her to stay married to him. Benafik Minei, she had a child. It was Reb Chanina Misura, had a great child, was a big rabbi. See? It's not a bad thing to force them to stay married. Where says Valayi? Hasam Siyata Deshmaya Havadat was with the help of heaven. Can't rely on those things. That's not really a way of marriage is supposed to work. That was a unique case. Heavenly assistance for that to happen. It's assumed that if the couple is not getting along, the assumption of this is that the children would not be so great. So that's what it's assumed. Here it's saying, oh, special heavenly assistant. Kalse de Rav Zvid Imrida. Rav Zvid's daughter-in-law was rebellious. Getting some details here. This would be Lashon Hara years ago.
The daughter-in-law is like a stepdaughter?
No, his son's wife.
Oh.
So, have a tfisa chad shiroi. She's holding a. Rashi tells us that it's more than it's not just rebellious. She's saying that she doesn't want to stay married to him. She's disgusted by him. Well, she's holding one of her garments. Yosef Ameimar Marzutra Ravashi. Remember, we said that we have this triumvirate, these three Ameimar Marzutra Ravashi. They're together a lot in a lot of stories and things happen. And so they're sitting there, and Yosef Rav Gamda Gabayu, Rav Gamda is also there. Yasir V'Kamri. They're sitting and they're saying, Marda Hefsida B'Leisea Kayamin. It means that even the clothing that she has that still exists, that she brought into the marriage, she loses that as well. she's holding some sort of expensive garment, and they're saying that if she's rebellious, then she's supposed to lose that as well. We had a discussion before. Does it go into the when they detract from the ksuba? Does it also go onto the things that she brought into the marriage? So they said that it does. She's supposed to lose that. Amr Rav Gamda mishum de Rav Zvid Gavaraba machnif bisulei. Because Rav Zvid is a great person, you're starting to flatter him. You're paskening in his favor, which means Rav Zvid and his son. This was a rebellious woman. Now they're taking away this daughter-in-law's garment that she's holding. Rav Kana said, "Mi boy Rav v'lei pashit." Rav Kana said that Rav had a question about this and he didn't answer it. And now you're just saying that she's going to lose that because Rav Zvid is a great person. You're siding with him. Yikadamri. For those that say the story was a little different. Yasi v'kamri marda lo yafsida b'leisa kayam. That a rebellious woman does not lose the garments. And then Amar Rav Gamda said, Mishundra Asid Gavarabahu Afchisulei Ladina Ilave. Because Rav Kana is a great person and he's not going to contest your psak because he's so humble. So you're just going to turn the halacha around. We had the saying a great person means that he's humble, that he's not going to argue. So you're gonna change the law. Amar Rav Kana mi bayi leila Rav v'lei pashit. It's not so clear that you can't take it away. Maybe you could take it away. Now that we don't have any conclusion about this, so the way it works like this: if she has the clothing already in her possession, then you don't take it away from her. But if she doesn't have it, then you don't give it to her. And for 12 months, you delay, you wait for her till she gets the get. And during that time, she doesn't get sustenance from the husband. She wants a divorce. And so the husband doesn't have to feed her anymore. But they wait for 12 months, maybe she'll change her mind. Yeah. Survive for 12 months. Well, it's sort of an encouragement for her to stay married, but yeah, and she could get some sort of job somewhere, be a servant in some other house where they feed her. But this is probably why she's what it means she's rebellious. She's not doing her tasks at home. So right. Amar Rav Tuvi bar Kisna Amar Shmuel. Rav Tuvi bar Kisna says the name of Shmuel. Kaisvin Igeris Mered al Arusa. Bein Kaisvin Igeris Mered al Shemer Siyavam. An Arusa could become a Meredes. She could say, I refuse to marry you, to consummate the marriage. And that's considered a Meredes, and she gets that document that says that she's a Meredes. However, you don't do this for Shemer Siyavam, where a woman is supposed to be marrying her brother-in-law because the husband passed away. She's supposed to marry his brother, and she refuses to finish the marriage. We don't say she's a Meredes. We don't say that. Okay, let's see. 1 second. Meisvei, we have a contradiction. Achas li'arusa nesua, filo nida, filo chela, filo Shemer Siyavam. That's that we do say she's a Meredes if she doesn't want to consummate the marriage with her with the levirate marriage with her deceased husband's brother. Even. Where it says like kasha. Kan shetavahu, kan shetavahi. Depends what's going on. Is she the one that wants to get married and he's refusing? Or is it he the one that wants to get married and she's refusing? We're going to see how this plays out. The Amar Rav Tachlifa Baravimi Amar Shmuel Tavahu. If he's the one that asks to get married, and she's saying no, she doesn't want to, so she's rebellious. Tavahi, if she's the one that wants to get married, Einis Kakanla, then we don't say that he's considered rebellious. We can say like this. She wants to do Yibam, And he's saying he doesn't want to. Now, what the Gemara is going to explain is that when she wants to do Yibam, the Bezdin can say, look, you don't really have a mitzvah to have children. It's only the husband that has a mitzvah to have children. You can't have children without a wife, but you're claiming that you want to get married, but he doesn't want to. He has the mitzvah to get married, and you're supposed to be an assistant. You're supposed to help him to perform the mitzvah of having children.
So the transgression's on him.
The transgression is on him, but he can marry someone else. He doesn't have to marry her. So she's not. When she has a claim against him, we don't turn him into a bad guy. When he has a claim against her, we say she's a bad woman. Let's see. He has the mitzvah, right? We'll see in a moment. B'mayu kimta. How are you establishing the Shmuel? Shmuel says that you don't by a Shemeres Yavam, we don't turn him into a myred, rebellious. How did we establish this? B'shetavahi. When she's the one that's saying, "Come on, let's get married." The Gemara says, 1 second. The words of Shmuel did not say that. Shmuel said, "Kaisvini geres mered al arusa." You don't write a document on a betrothed woman. I'm sorry, it says you do write the document on the betrothed woman. You don't write the document on the Shemeres Yavam. But if this is the case, it's not supposed to be al arusa. If he's the one that's claiming, if according to Shmuel, the way we just established it, why don't you write the geres mered for the Shemeres Yavam? Because he's the one that's refusing, and she's the one that's requesting to get married. So then it's not al arusa, it's li arusa. It's for her, not on her, not about her. Li arusa mi bayale. Should have said for her, not on her. The Gemara says halei kasha tani la arusa. Okay, adjust that. It says al. Let's turn it into li. It works. We're ready to make that amendment to the Shmuel statement. Okay, now the Gemara asks the question. So, why did Shmuel make a distinction here? When it came to the betrothed woman, Shmuel says, the way we're explaining what Shmuel's statement was, she says, "Come on, we waited the amount of time after the betrothal. Let's consummate the marriage." And then we have the Shemeres Yavam as well. We have, "Come on, let's do Yibam," she's saying. So when it came to the Arusa, we say, okay, he's rebellious. He's not consummating the marriage. When it came to the Yavam, we say, oh, no, it's nothing. We don't say that he's a bad guy. What's the reason for the Arusa? We say, what's the reason for the Shemeres Yavam? We say, look, you're not really commanded to get married. The woman, the husband's the one that's commanded. Just leave it alone. It's not your obligation. So he doesn't turn into a bad guy because she wants to get married. But by the Arusa also, why do we say he's a bad guy? We tell her, you're not really commanded to get married. Ella bebamach mastaina. Rather, she's not claiming that she has a mitzvah to get married. She has a different claim. Her claim goes like this: the amra beina chutra liyada mara lekvura. I need a stick in my hand. That means I need someone to support me when I get older. It means like a cane. I need a cane when I'm older, and I need a shovel for my grave. That means she wants to have a child so that she should be supported when she's older. I'm sorry. Someone that's going to help her get buried.
He's here. That's the question. I'm not following why more is making it so complicated. The difference is trying to understand why there is a difference.
Right, Arusa and Shemeres Yavam.
Or something who's Zika. Difference is with an Arusa, the man entered into a contract and said he would do something.
Right.
With a Zika, it just happened to him.
Right.
So why don't we just say that's the difference, and then
Right.
Done.
That would have been an easy teretz. The Gemara is going to change this around. It's going to be slightly different than what we're thinking. But yeah, at this point, you're right. They could have answered that. The Gemara says, well, Hachinami, Shemeres Yavim Beba Machmastaina. Shemeres Yavim also. She's saying, I don't want to be alone my whole life. When I get older, who's going to take care of me? Who's going to arrange the funeral? Ella Idi Vidi Shetavahu. We're switching the pshat over here. Both cases, it's the husband that's claiming he wants to get married. And we're writing the document on her, if she's an Arusa, that she's a rebellious woman. She doesn't want to get married. And by the Shemeres Yavim, we don't write the document. Why not? It's the same thing. V'lei kasha, kan lachleitz, kan liyabim. So we have two. What happens now is we had two statements. One was a brisa and one was a statement of Shmuel. If a Shemeres Yavam gets a Meredes document that she's considered rebellious, so it depends what was going on here. The Amar of Pedas, Amar of Yechanan, or Pedas says name of Yechanan, Tava Lachleitz. If he says, let's do Chalitza, so Niskakan like. So then she says, I'm not doing Chalitza, I don't care. So then we write her, we write a document that she's rebellious.
No, because she wants to be.
I don't even know if she wants to do Yibam. She just says, I don't want to. Oh, she wants to do Yibam. She does want to do Yibam. So, but because he wants to do Chalitza, so we write the document. Tavali Yabim. But if he says, I want to do Yibam, Ainus Kakan like, then we don't do that, right? We don't write the document. Just 1 second. 1 second. Why is it going like this? What would the logic be? Why don't we, when he says I want to do Yibam, we're not going to write a document for him that she's rebellious. Why? Because we'll tell him, look, she doesn't want to do Yibam. So Zil Nasiv, it's Achrita. Go marry someone else. Yeah, the Bezdin says to him, he wants to do Yibam, and she doesn't want. They say, well, what do you want? Go marry someone else. We don't turn her into a bad woman.
Right.
We tell him, go marry someone else. If that's the case, then lachleitz nami. If he wants to do chalitza, neimale zil nasiv it's achriti. So we tell neimale, we tell to him, go marry someone else. Is he allowed to marry someone else while he's waiting for chalitza? Yes, he is.
Oh, wow.
She's not allowed to marry. Right. So what are you worried about? Why are we turning her into a bad woman? Because he wants to get married. Go marry someone else. That's right. Ella, rather, the Amar, his claim back is, even the Agida B, he said, I went on the Shidduch website, and one of the questions they asked was, do you have a chalutza, or a shemeres yavam that's waiting for you? And I had to click yes. So the Agida be kila yavali achriti, be like yavali achriti. No one wants to marry me because I have another wife that's attached to me. I'm not married to her yet, but she's attached because she's a shemeres yavam. So hachanami, if that's the case, given Agida be like yavali achriti, the same thing would apply here. What is the hachanami? Or whether he's Tava Liyabim or Tava Lachleitz, both of them, we should say that she's considered a Meredes because he can't get out of his situation. He can't find another woman, another wife, because he's attached to this woman. Whether he wants Yivam or Chalitza, either way, there is a woman that's attached to him. No one else wants to marry him. Maybe she's going to be a second wife.
Didn't we say that he can marry someone even though
He can, but he's claiming that no one wants to marry me. I know I can, but because
how does he know that though?
he tried.
Right?
People are saying, 1 second, there's another wife that you have that's going to end up in this marriage. I don't want to be the second wife.
Social media. Put it out there.
No, those are separate stories. What happened was she's married to Reuven. Reuven passed away, so now she's supposed to marry Shimon. Okay, now it's considered like they're betrothed, but they're not betrothed. It's called the Shemeres Yavam. She's waiting for the levirate marriage. So now the Shimon tells her, "Let's get married." So she says no. So we're saying that we tell Shimon, which one was this? We tell Shimon, go marry someone else. And she's not considered a rebellious woman. But if Shimon says, let's do chalitza, let's separate, let's not get married, and she says, no, I want to get married. So then we say that she is rebellious. She's refusing chalitza. No. Oh, with the brother? Yeah. Not necessarily. Could be she was only betrothed him, and still they have to do yibum. Yeah. The Gemara now switches the story. And the Gemara says, really, there's a machlekes that's going on. Why do we have this contradiction regarding yibum? It's because there were two opinions here. One was an earlier statement, one was a later statement. In both cases is when the husband was asking to do yibum and she's refusing. But like Kasha, and there's no question. If you remember from Yavamas, we had two statements. The Tanan mitzvahs yibum kedemas mitzvahs chalitza. Originally, it was priority was given to yibum over chalitza. We thought that was considered a bigger mitzvah. Right. But Yishayna Shayim Eskam l'shem mitzvah. That was when people would do yibum just because there was a mitzvah. But Akshav Shem Eskam l'shem mitzvah. Now people are marrying. It's not because of the mitzvah, maybe for the money or because for other reasons. Amro mitzvahs chalitza kedemas mitzvahs. Even they said chalitza is preferable. So what's happening now is the way we're resolving this contradiction is we're saying that according to the Brisa, Shemeres Yavam that refuses to do yibum, she's considered a meredes because that was the earlier statement where yibum was the preferable, and so she's not doing yibum. That's the preferred action. So we say she's rebellious. But Shmuel's statement that she's refusing to do yibum, we say that that's not the preferred statement, the preferred action. So she's not considered a rebellious. Okay. No, I think there was a mitzvah. Even that Abishal, I think, was only in later generation. Yeah. Later on, they said that nowadays people aren't l'shem shemayim, so chalitza is preferred. Right, that's what we're saying here. But it's only originally people were l'shem shemayim, so yibum was preferred. But now chalitza is preferred. Sometime after the destruction, and it is a Tana. Yeah. Okay. How long do we detract from the ksuba? It says that they take off 7 coins, right? How much is a coin? It was either a dinar or a tarpik. My tarpikin. How much is a tarpik? Rav Sheish is astira. It says it's the coin called an astira. As well, the kama astira. How much is astira? It says palga de zuzah. It's a half a zuz, which is a half a dinar. Zuz and a dinar is the same. Tanya nami hachi. It's also taught in the Brisa. Rabbi Yehuda Omer shleisha tarpikim shem teshaman. Rabbi Yehuda says that when we said 3 tarpiks, what we really mean is 9 ma. Ma v'chatzi l'chol yain. Every day was 1.5 ma. That would equals in 6 days. That equals 3 tarpiks. So it turns out to be 9 ma because 1.5 times 6. 1.5 times 6 would be 9. Okay. The problem here is that when she was rebellious, we took off 7 coins. When he's rebellious, we take off 3, but it really means 6. It really means 6 days. Every week we take off 7 for her, 1 for each day. And when he's rebellious, we take off only 6 days. It's less money, but we're only counting 6 of the days. What happened to Shabbos? When it comes to him, the Yavinan lay the Shabbos, we give him for Shabbos. When it comes to her, we don't count the Shabbos. It says, the Gemara says, when it comes to her, that it's only subtracting from the ksuba. It doesn't look like he's earning money because it's only a subtraction. So it doesn't look like he's earning money on Shabbos. But Ida Sufi Kamaisva, when it comes to him, when he's being rebellious and she's gaining extra money in the ksuba, so Mechzik Schar Shabbos, it looks like Schar Shabbos. Looks like there's income coming from Shabbos. That's the problem. Amalei Rav Chia Bar Yosef l'Shmuel. Rav Chia Bar Yosef says to Shmuel, "Ma bin married l'meredes." The question: how come the husband doesn't lose the same amount that the wife loses if she's meredes? Amalei Tzeil Mad Mishuk Shel Zainus. Mi Seicher Es Mi. How does it work when it comes to a prostitute? Who hires who? So apparently, for the man, it's harder to refrain from relations than for the woman. So that's why it's the woman gets punished more severely than the man gets punished. This one, I guess, maybe his desire is more apparent because his Yetzer Hara is visible, and the woman, the Yetzer Hara is not visible. Okay, let's take a look at the Mishnah. It says Hamashra es Ishtay. Mashra means that he's not giving her income directly. He's giving it through a third party. Al Yidei Shalish. Through a third party. Lo yifches lamishne kaben chitin. He should not give her any less than 2 measurements of wheat. Or 4 measurements of barley. That was an option, wheat or barley. Rabbi Yishmael, barley would only be something that Rabbi Yishmael would say because he lived near Edom and that's what they would eat over there. But she also gets a half a measurement of, I guess kitnius is like legumes or beans. The half a jug of oil, the kav gregris, and the kav of dried figs, mana devela, or this weight, the mana of devela is dates. I'm sorry, it's figs. It's figs, pressed figs, fig cakes. V'meinlai, if he doesn't have those things, so paisik lumas and pears makamacha, then he has to correspond to that some other fruits. V'naisim lamita mapatz machzelis, he has to give her a bed and a mat and another type of mat. The mapatz is a soft mat. V'naisim la kipa l'reisha, she gets a certain kerchief for her head. I think the kerchief would be there's 2 of them. One would be underneath, one would be more decorative, and one would just hold the hair. Yeah, I have a picture over there. The chaga l'masneh, she also gets a belt. And she gets shoes every Yom Tov. The kelim shel chamishim zuz mishana l'shana, she gets new utensils, 50 zuz from year to year. Ve'ein naisen la leichadashim le'maisag chamav le'schad. What does kelim mean? Kelim means clothing. Yeah, I think it means clothing. Clothing, not utensils. Clothing of 50 zuz every year. The new clothes does not come in the summer. And the old clothes she's not supposed to have old clothes in the winter. She's supposed to have the new clothes in the winter. Then in the summer, when it's worn out and it's cooler and it's hotter, so the worn out clothing would be cooler after her, not the. Even though she gets new clothing, but she still keeps the worn out clothing. She also gets a ma every week for spending money. Even though she's eating somewhere else, he's paying for her to eat somewhere. But every Friday night they eat together. If he doesn't give her the spending money, then she keeps her income. What is she required to do for him? She's supposed to spin cords, right? Mishkal Chamisham Shesi Yehuda. The amount of the weight of 5 measurements of this Shesi, which is a thick cord in Yehuda. Shenes Islam Begal, which is 10 amount in the Galilee, which because the coinage was different there. Oy Mishkal Es Islam Erev Yehuda. Or the thinner cords that they would make should be 10 of those. Shemes Islam Begal, which is 20 in the Galilee, which because the coinage was different, the weights were different. If she's nursing, then she doesn't have to work as hard. They also give her more food. All these measurements is only when a person's poor. These are the minimal wages, minimal amount. But if the husband is more wealthy, you're supposed to give her more according to how wealthy he is. Okay, let's leave it over here. Okay.